Sebastian Vettel has been getting a lot of criticism over the last couple of years. But is all this criticism fair? Sebastian Vettel made his debut in Formula One in 2007 for BMW Sauber for the US Grand Prix. Later that year, he raced the last couple of races for Toro Rosso, earning him a full-time drive for the next season, the season in which he would claim his first Formula One win in Italy in the wet, which was a remarkable story in itself. In 2009, he got the call-up to Red Bull and he went on to finish second in the championship that year, behind Jenson Button. Between 2010 and 2013, he won all 4 World Championships and even won 9 races in a row in 2013. He had many incredible drives and fought back brilliantly in the second half of the 2012 championship to eventually win it after the season start wasn't perfect for him. At the start of the hybrid era in 2014, he endured a difficult year with Red Bull until he eventually made the move to Scuderia Ferrari for the 2015 season. He won in just his second race for the Scuderia and went on to finish the season in third place. After a difficult 2016 season, Vettel and Ferrari took the fight to Mercedes in 2017, but had to settle for second place after reliability problems prevented him and Ferrari from winning the title. In 2018, Ferrari probably had the better car than Mercedes and the best machinery possible to win the title, though rare mistakes from Vettel stopped that from happening. And now comes the part I want to focus on. In 2019, Ferrari didn't have a car to fight for the championship, and Vettel would eventually finish the season in 5th place, behind his new teammate Charles Leclerc. In 2020, Ferrari's car was awful, there was no pace at all, and after a difficult year, Sebastian Vettel ended up all the way in 13th place. But now we come to the important part. Is the criticism that Vettel is getting fair? I think that we can all say that the crash in Hockenheim 2018 changed Vettel. He was obviously very shaken up and disappointed, but for me, the way he fought back is actually incredible. Just 2 races later, Sebastian Vettel won the Belgian Grand Prix. But after that, more mistakes occurred. But by then, Vettel was very far behind in the championship and took risks, which is very understandable. The plan was to come back stronger in 2019, which in my opinion he did. Personally, I think Vettel does not get the credit he deserves for the 2019 Formula One season. In the first 6 races in 2019, he dominated Charles Leclerc, with the exception of Bahrain. We then come to Canada for the 7th race of the season, a track in which he led from start to finish the year before. Coming into the weekend, everyone has written Ferrari off, and they only had 1 pole position by them, compared to the 3 the year before. Sebastian Vettel smashed one out of the park on Saturday and claimed pole position for Sunday's race. After qualifying, you could see the expressions of joy and the huge excitement in his face. When the lights went out for the Grand Prix on the Sunday, we can say the Mercedes car was the better car, but Sebastian Vettel stayed in front of Hamilton and at different points was quicker than him. Hamilton constantly put the pressure on Seb, but he held strong. Though on lap 48, Vettel went wide onto the grass and came back onto the track, which the stewards thought was dangerous, but everyone, and literally everyone, thought different. Vettel crossed the line first, but in the end finished in P2 after a 5-second time penalty. Vettel was furious and the whole F1 community was furious. Even the race highlights from that race has more dislikes than likes. It was a huge blow for Seb, and Ferrari didn't really support him enough in the appeal. 2 races later, Seb had reliability problems in qualifying in Austria, a session in which his teammate took pole. So that was another blow for him. But how he came back in the race was great, and in the end he was under a second away from a podium. Now, I know in Great Britain Vettel crashed with Max, but it's hard to judge, especially at the speeds that they are going at. And now Hockenheim, his home race. After losing the win the year before, all eyes were on him to win this race. And surprisingly, Ferrari had the pace. But in qualifying, the unthinkable occurred. On his first outlap in Q1, his engine died, meaning he had to start the race in last place. Having so many blows and hits in such a small period of time and at your home race is hard to take. But his drive on Sunday is one for the history books. Starting last, he came through the field in an epic, chaotic, incredible rain-hit race to finish all the way in second place, a remarkable drive, a drive in which he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Almost everyone, including Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc and more experienced drivers slid off or spun, but Seb held it on track to eventually finish in P2. The next 2 races were quite good for him, And now we are in Italy, Ferrari's home race, and they have the best chance to win a race here since the last 10 years. Vettel qualified in P4, but he should have been higher up had it not been for the chaos. But then in the race, he made a huge mistake and finished 14th, while his teammate Charles Leclerc won the race in front of the Tifosi and became the Ferrari hero and the hero in Italy. That was a hard one to take for Vettel. The media at that point hit at him so hard and the pressure was mounting and mounting and mounting. Will he be kicked out of Ferrari? Was Sebastian Vettel's championship wins just luck? But then we come to Singapore, and Sebastian Vettel was on fire there. He won the race, his first race win of the season. The way he won the race, keeping everything under control, was remarkable and great. And that was the turning point in the season, and something Vettel gets not recognized for enough. The next race in Russia, he dominated until an engine problem ruled him out. In Japan, he dominated his teammate to finish in P2. Coming to Mexico, he was fighting for the win against Lewis Hamilton. Then in the US, a problem with his car prevented him from finishing the race. And in Brazil, the two Ferraris came together in an incident which was 50-50. He ended the season in 5th place in the final race in Abu Dhabi. But then everyone was saying Seb had an awful season, his worst in his career. But I don't think so. After the difficult race outcome in Canada, after the huge and many setbacks he had, and probably the biggest hit after he lost out in Italy and the whole world was going against him, to come back like he did is only something a true champion can do. He dominated races after that, and especially he dominated his teammate Charles Leclerc. So for me, his 2019 season was better than the 2018 season. But as I said, the media still said it was a bad season for him and the pressure mounted on him for 2020, which was unnecessary because he had a good season in 2019. Though after COVID hit us, the season was pushed back, and before the season even started, Vettel got told that Ferrari don't want to re-sign his contract after 2020. Vettel, the man that gave his heart and soul for Ferrari and gave everything every single day, has just got done like that. That must have hit him hard, and you could see that. The car was bad in 2020, but his first few races weren't that bad. But then the pressure from the media mounted again, and publicly from Ferrari too. Vettel is normally a driver that needs the backing from the team and the trust to be successful, but he obviously didn't have that anymore from Ferrari. And then the motivation dropped, which is normal. And having little motivation and no trust from the team, you just can't be successful at all. Thankfully, he found a seat for this season, but he doesn't seem to get a rest. But yeah, we'll hope Aston Martin can fix their reliability problem so that Vettel can show what he is truly made of. He now has a team which trusts him and backs him. He loves working with the team and he looks very refreshed. Vettel normally needs a bit of time to get on top of things, so give him a few races and you'll see he will be back. But until then, respect this man for what he has done and achieved, and especially for his 2019 season. Has it not been for many reliability problems, he would have finished in P3 in a championship. But yeah, that will be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Goodbye.